Hi guys. Just wait for the numbers to build up a bit. How are we all today? Hope you are all good. Hey guys, I'm good, thanks Beth. How are you? Hey Grace. Oh, I'm glad you're loving it. Hello. Oh, thanks Becky. It's getting to the point where I need to wash now. Hey Maria. How are we all? Are you all good today? Excited? I feel quite sad today. Sat with a glass of rosé, lovely. That's the life. I hope everyone's had a good Thursday. I'm good, thanks Maria. Really good. I'm feeling sad because it's the last day. Oh, Sarah's still at the yard. Greasy bun and PJs. That would normally be me by now, to be honest, but I would not do that to you guys because that's not a pretty sight for me. I have actually had to put like proper makeup on these past few days. Oh, I'm glad it's been educational. I'm gutted it's the last one, but there's still lots of things we can talk about. There's still lots of things to come that I'm excited to share with you. Oh, Nikki's had a promotion. Congratulations to Nikki, that's amazing. Well done you. Oh, good. It's nice to have some good news, isn't it? Let me just move my screens around a bit. Just gonna let a couple more people in the group because we've got a few more people that have requested to join just while I wait and see if any more people are joining us. Bear with me. There's just not enough hours in the day, is there? I know I'm not the only one that feels like that. And then I will start in just 2 minutes. Don't want anyone to miss out. So today we're talking all about brands, and I would be interested to know who has already collaborated with brands. If there's anyone watching who has already had a brand collaboration of some description. Hey Emma. Emma's had some exciting news today. I'll reply to you afterwards, Emma. But Emma's had some success, which is so exciting. Hey Emma Deans, I hope you're all good. I've done a photo shoot for a brand, okay. Anyone else? I know Emma has done some bits for brands. Emily, I'm a brand ambassador for a brand and have been gifted products. Me, but please don't ask me questions about it because I don't know what I'm doing. Isabel, well, you look like you know what you're doing. Jess works with a few. I have loads of my previous Instagram and blog in beauty with horses. I've worked with one brand and it was awful, yeah. There's some out there that aren't great. Worked with Harry Hall. Oh yeah, lots then. Lots Nikki. Brand ambassador, gifted items. Had the worst experience and been quite put off since. Be interested to know what your experience is, Gemma, if you want to share it. You don't have to share it though. If it was, you know, private or whatever. But I like to know. Oh no, Heather's messaged me. She can't get on. Oh no. I wonder why that is. But yeah, I like to know experiences, good and bad, because obviously I've only worked for one brand and I only know how I did it, and how I did it was obviously the best way and the right way because it's me, and I feel like everyone should be doing it the way I did it. I don't think that's, I just think that's just me kind of knowing exactly how I believe it should run. And unfortunately, I didn't have the full control that I would have liked. I had a lot of control, but there's always powers that be that don't quite understand the whole gifting influencer thing. But that's why I'm here, and that's why we're working on it. So yeah, I'd be interested to know. I can't watch and comment. Facebook is not playing. Oh, why is Facebook being weird tonight? That's really annoying. Yeah, so I would be interested to know your experiences, good and bad, especially bad, because I would like to know what other brands are doing. So I only know what I did. I only know the brands who I work with currently. Yeah, so it would be interesting to know your experiences. Some really take advantage. Yes, I've spoken to someone recently who is currently being very taken advantage of, and it's very difficult to get out of that kind of thing once you agree to something, which is, it's really important to absolutely know your worth straight away. Before you agree to anything, before you sign any contracts. They sent a contract to me once. They'd already sent out the gifted items saying I need to post 3 times a week promoting them. Then when I posted a picture of myself wearing a product from a different company, they got really cross at me, said I was unprofessional, made me send the items back. Oh wow. I've heard recently about brands who have gifted people and then get funny when they work with a different brand. I've heard that a lot. That happens everywhere, but unfortunately that's why you have to pay and get a contract in place, you know, if you really like the influencer. So yeah, that's really bad. Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's not good. I'm just reading Gemma's comments. And what are your experience about brand being like a brand ambassador? Have we got lots of brand ambassadors here? Because I know the brand ambassador schemes are, they have very mixed reviews. I have quite mixed opinions on them, if I'm honest. I've had brands who ask for lots of posts several times a week, 2 vlogs a month, all rights to photos for a small gift. Yeah, this is not what we want. This is not what we want at all. So we want, really, if you're getting gifted an item, you are not obliged to post anything about that item. And really, we want to make that clear when you first speak to the brand. And it might put a lot of brands off. And I think the issue is, mine are all lovely. That's really good. Yeah, Jess, I think you work with some good ones. Yeah, we really need to try, and we don't want to scare brands off, and this probably will scare a lot of brands off, but you want to try and warn them that, you know, you can't actually promise anything. If it's a brand that you really love, if it's a brand that you don't love, you shouldn't be accepting gifts. Simple as that. So there's a lot of people out there, which I will talk about later. There's a lot of people out there that do accept things that they have no intention of posting about and that they don't like. And that is the total wrong way to do it. Which is why I asked you to write your dream brand collaborations. down, because that has something to do with what I'm going to talk to you about today. Obviously everyone's different, obviously everyone has their own way of doing things, brands have their own way of doing things, and you have to remember that it's not just the brands that are causing problems, it's also a lot of influencers as well. Brands are having a hell of a lot of bad experiences with influencers, which is why I am trying to teach brands, and I want to teach influencers as well, so we can all work in harmony together, because there seems to be some kind of mixed, well, like a loose wire, I feel, with a lot of brands and influencer relationships. Brands are getting quite put off with working with influencers at the moment, and I know some influencers are doing and putting brands off working with them because of how they are acting and how they're not treating brands with respect. Now, my understanding of the ASA influencer guidelines so that if you're given a product and asked to promote it, yeah, so anything, now it's very difficult, and the guidelines, the official influencer guidelines are very difficult to get your head around, but basically if you are getting gifted an item and then you promote that item or you post about that item on Instagram, then you always have to declare it as an ad. You can declare it as sponsored or gifted or things like that, but the official word is ad or advert. You have to make it really, really clear. Oh, that's good. I'm glad you're having good experiences, Grace. It's difficult because it's like you have the brands that are absolutely amazing and absolutely smashing it and doing a really good job, big or small. Some of the small ones are just doing so well. Some of the big ones do so well. And then the influencers are doing so well. And then you always get the ones that let the side down. You always get the brands that let the side down. You always get the influencers that let the side down. And then all of a sudden, influencers are getting stroppy at brands. Brands don't want to work with influencers, and it's just all becomes a bit of a nightmare. So that's why we're trying to put some kind of official formalities in place so that you guys know exactly what you do, what you're worth, what you can do and what you don't have to do, and brands know the best way to treat you. And really that kind of comes down to contracts in the end, and you guys only working with brands that you like and genuinely really like and love. So I have hashtag ad as my first hashtag. Yeah, Abby's here, she made it. Yeah, this is all good. This is all good. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to start, always get a contract, yeah. It's the best way, it's the safest way, if there's no money involved, if you're accepting products that you're really happy with, brands you absolutely love and you support. I'm going to talk about this later anyway, but a brand that you completely love and support, then you might not want payment. They might not have the budget to pay you, but it might be enough for you to keep promoting them, and then you talk about contracts and try and get contracts in place, and then you both know where you stand. Otherwise, it just becomes very awkward. It can become very awkward unless you really work hard to build up a very good relationship. If it's a brand that you totally love and they're gifting you and you really, really, really want to keep going, then you have to work hard for it, because the brand will probably just move on to someone else if you're not delivering. But that's not saying that you should be working hard and, you know, killing yourself and working free. It's just that there's certain systems and things in place that you can implement to make it be on your terms and you get the best out of it, as well as them getting what they want as well. So there's lots and lots to learn. Usually, Gemma, normally the brand should write a contract, but yeah, I was interested to see what Jess said. Yeah, so the brand will give you the contract, you will look at the contract, and then, like Jess said, exactly, you'll negotiate. If there's something that you don't like on there, if there's something you want to change, you don't sign it until you're happy, and can keep going backwards and forwards like that. Yeah, exactly what Jess said. If you have brands that want to work with you and they don't want to do contracts, a lot of them won't on a smaller scale, then they won't have expectations of you. But if you want a long-term relationship with them, then you can set your own standards and turn it into a long-term relationship. Then you've got the power, really. If they want to work with you, then it's up to you to make it long-term. How many followers would you need for sponsorship? So that's a difficult one, Emma, because equestrian brands still are very numbers focused, but we're trying to change that, because obviously it's not really about numbers, it's about engagement, it's about content. So I've said before that I worked with someone who had under 1,000 followers because she took amazing content and she was more than happy to be gifted. It suited her. I never ever asked her for anything. She loved wearing the product, she loved wearing the brand, and the pictures that she was taking were just absolutely perfect for the Instagram page at the time, and she had 900 and something followers. But it's not the same for every brand. People are different. Social media managers are different everywhere. I think I was slightly more open-minded than some, but a lot of the modern brands who are actively gifting a lot of influencers, these are the ones that understand it, and they know the power of someone who might have less followers but a lot of influence over a really tight community. Yeah, the BA schemes are tricky. Some of them work, some, well, not if it's a brand that you're buying from a lot anyway, then to be an ambassador seems quite natural, but I'm not a big advocate for brand ambassador schemes. Beth, I'm going to talk about this in a minute. So I'm going to crack on. I'm going to talk about it. I'm going to talk about the basics of what you need to be doing for your best possible chances to succeed. Pyramid schemes, yeah. It's exactly right. So anyway, I obviously want to firstly say, well done for making it to day 3, for turning up live for 3 days now. I know a lot of you, it's the same people turning up live and making the time, and I know a lot of people can't. I know a lot of people are working and catching up later. So well done to everyone. If you are now watching video 3, you have made it. There's lots of exciting things to come that I'm really I'm trying not to blur out because I'm just so excited. And so many of you have been taking like little boomerangs or pictures and posting it on your story, which makes me so excited when I come off this live and I go and sit down with my dinner, and then I look at my phone and I'm like, oh, people are actually like taking pictures of me and putting it on their story, and I just like, it makes my night. So yeah, keep doing that, guys, because you're making me so happy. So as you will have guessed, we are talking about working with brands. We want to try and make it positive. We want to try and put you in the driving seat. And we want to teach you some good habits. We want to teach you the right way to do it. And a lot of the time, these brands, some of them, like I said, some of them are really savvy, and, you know, they have built their brand on influence marketing in the equestrian world, which is amazing. And then some of the equestrian brands are still very traditional. It's all still very new to them. They don't really get it, and they need a bit of guidance, and you need to do certain things to really, like I said, put you in the driver's seat. You can then take control. You can guide them, and then all of a sudden you're like this godly figure in their marketing strategy, and they won't ever want to leave you or lose you. Remember, I've been there, I've lived it. And there were just some people that I ended up working with, and I was like, do you know what? Whatever happens, we cannot lose these people as influencers. We can't lose them to other brands. We just can't lose them. And that is the impact that we are aiming for if it's a brand that you love. We all have our favourite brands, like I asked you to do this exercise. So some of the techniques that I want to speak to you about aren't really like that widely used, especially in the equestrian world, but that is why we want to use them, because it's all about setting you apart from the rest of the people that are contacting these brands. We want to really make you seem like the one that knows what they're doing, the one that's standing out. You might have 2,000 followers or 1,000, but you create really good content, but they're not going to really look at these numbers if you approach them and talk to them in the right way. So I would recommend having a media kit if you are going to start contacting brands. So those of you who don't know what a media kit is, it's a PDF document, and it might have a few pages, and it basically tells brands who you are, a bit about you, a bit of an intro, and kind of what your personal brand is all about. So what is your influencer skills, what's your content creating skills all about? So think of it a bit like a creative CV. And that is really where we want to go. We want to be at that standard, even if you don't think you don't have enough followers yet. Still just get your media kit together, because it's going to make you look so much more professional and you're going to be so much more memorable. So media kits are really important because they are rarely used when it comes to the world of equestrian influencers. So by creating a media kit for yourself, you're just going to look miles above the rest, because it's not something that brands are seeing on a day-to-day basis. They're getting an email, they're getting a DM, and they're not getting the all bells and whistles thing that really makes them think, wow, like this person's amazing. So it will help in that way. It will help because it's going to make your conversation move a lot quicker, because there are going to be less emails going around. So if they want to know your insights, they don't have to go back to you and ask for your insights. If they want to know like an example of your work or things like that, it's just going to make it really seamless. It's going to make it really quick. And that's what we want. And they're going to have everything that they need to know about you. They're going to have details of you. They're going to have what you can offer, examples of your work. So they're just not really going to need to ask you any questions at all, which is good, which is what we want. So I put together, yep, Holly, I've put together a workbook that tells you what you should include in your media kit. And Becky has absolutely hit the nail on the head. Canva have some good templates. So I have taken one of their templates and I've turned it slightly more equestrian, and I have made it into my own template that I can share with you, and then you can go on and edit that template. But I would obviously recommend putting your own stamp on it if you can. If you're a bit more confident in Canva and you know what you're doing, have a look at the other media kit templates and see if you can change the layout slightly, make it a bit more unique to you. But if you don't really use Canva or you've never used it, that's fine. It's just like so easy. It's drag and drop, and yeah, it's all there. All the information's there. I've got a little guide for you, and I've got a link to something that you can edit yourself. So hopefully that will help you. Just checking your comments. So now we're going to talk about how to approach brands. So most of the time you will be the one approaching a brand. Some brands will approach you, but a lot of the time it will be you doing the approaching, which is fine. Nothing wrong with that at all. If anything, it's a good thing because it shows how passionate you are about the brand if you're taking time out of your day to contact them specifically. So is using a Word doc fine? I would try and get into the habit of using a document that looks creative, because we really want to give you kind of like, we want to portray you in a creative light, because if you're an influencer, chances are you're going to be quite a creative person. So we definitely want to make it colourful, bright. There's things that you can do in Canva that you just can't do in Microsoft Word. And just definitely try and make it as colourful and as bright as you can. And Canva is really easy. Just spend a bit of time on it if you haven't used it before, and you'll be absolutely fine. There are elements that are similar to Microsoft Word, and once you use it, you'll be like, oh, this is why I use Canva and not Word. So yeah, definitely try and use Canva if you can. Save it as a PDF. So before you contact brands, you need to make sure that you are, as a person, as an influencer, aligned with their brand values and their content. So every brand will have some values. They'll have like things that are really important to them. You can usually find this kind of thing on their website, something like that. Or if it's not really apparent what their values are, think about what they're trying to give. What's the message that they're trying to give? And if that sits well with you and matches what you're aligned with, then that's perfect. It's a perfect match for you. There's no point contacting brands, especially the bigger brands, if you're just going to send the same email out to everyone. So you obviously want to really narrow it down as to who you're going to contact. So make sure you're choosing a brand that you think it suits you and it works with you. Make sure you are not sending the same email to every single brand. And also, don't just rush into trying to work with brands too soon and trying to contact brands too soon, because you are going to get demotivated if they say no, and then you're probably going to stop posting on your page. You're going to give up for a few months, then you might pick it back up. You'll start contacting brands again, they'll say no, and the same thing will happen. So first, I would really suggest just to work on your engagement. Work on your engagement and do the exercise. Work on building a community, work on building friendships and trust. Then work on your content, get your content really spot on, make sure that you're happy with that. You're happy with how that's looking and you're proud of it. Like I said last night, this is going to be something that develops over time. Your content, if you're just starting out, might be rubbish now. In 2 months' time, it could be amazing. So why jump into it now? Just wait until you're really confident and you're really ready, because the brands aren't going anywhere. The brands are not going anywhere at all, okay? So in your email, when you do eventually contact the brand, you want to be excited about wanting to work with them. So don't just do a really professional, with no personality email. Be really excited, be really motivated. If you're quite an energetic person, be really energetic. Don't be afraid to be yourself, because there's a real person at the other end of that email and at that brand. So you want to connect with them on a personal level. And you also want to make the brand feel excited to work with you. So what I'll do is I'll go through your questions at the end. So do feel free to write your questions down now. I'll go through all of what I want to talk about, and then I'll go back and try and reply to you all. So keep writing your questions, and then someone else in the group could reply if they know the answer. But if not, I will get to you at the end. So Charlotte, that's a really good question. So I will definitely answer that for you. So yeah, make sure you're really excited when you speak to the brand, and make sure the brand is going to feel excited to work with you as well. So you could tell them your content ideas when you email them. You could tell them what you are planning to do for them already. So think about if they have a new product launching, and you know that they've got a new product launching, you've seen it on their Instagram, you've seen it on their website. Have a think before you contact them what you could do to promote that product. What content might you create to promote that product? What could you do that's going to make them think, oh, like this sounds actually like quite an exciting opportunity for us to give this product to this person because they're going to do this for us. So think about what you could do for them, and don't be afraid to go to the extreme of just brainstorming, writing things down. You know, if it's a brand that you really, 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 truly love, then you need to go to this kind of effort. Because otherwise it just won't pay off. And you, like I said, you need to stand out. So think about content that you might create for a product launch or a new product. You might be getting really into your reels right now and you're getting really good at transitions, and you might say to the brand, you know, have a look at my reels that I've been creating. They've been getting this many views. I would absolutely love to create a reel for you guys that you can then share on your page. So you can do that kind of thing. If they have like a new waterproof jacket that's just been released, and you and your horse are always out riding in the rain, you know, you don't care what weather it is, you're always out riding in the rain. You could say, you know, me and my horse are always out riding in the rain. I would love to be able to take your jacket, you know, test it out in the rain and take some really, really good content of the jacket in action, or take a good video or reel of the jacket in action. Just things like this. That it's just going to make you sound a lot more desirable to the brand and just a lot more professional as well. So my golden rule for working with brands, whether that is on a gifted basis or whether that's on a paid basis, is to be selective. So if you approach a brand, or if a brand approaches you, always ask yourself these questions before you agree to anything. So think, would you be proud to wear the item that they want to gift you? Does it fit with your niche? So think about your niche that you put down on day one, or whenever you got the email that I sent you about the niche. Does it fit with your niche? Does it fit with the kind of content you're creating? Do you think you would pay for this item? If you wouldn't pay for the item, then it's probably not the right item for you. So would you pay for the item, and do you love the brand? So do you love the brand? Simple as that. Do you know the brand? Do you know who the brand is? Have you heard of them? Are you already following them? Do you know what they're all about? These are the things that you really need to be asking yourself before you go into any kind of agreement, collaboration, contract, or anything with a brand. Never, ever, ever accept anything that you're not sure about or that you're not confident in, because there are so many influencers out there that are abusing their position. They accept products because they want something for free, and their whole aim of being an influencer is just to get free stuff. They don't care who it's from, they don't care where it comes from, they just want free stuff. And then they receive the item because they might have 20,000 followers or 10,000 followers, and then they disappear off the face of the earth. They have no intention of posting. And I've heard it time and time again, and it does happen. And if you feel passionately that you don't want to accept gifted items anymore, you deserve to be paid, then simply don't accept gifted items. Don't just accept them and say, well, I might not post about it, but send it to me anyway. You know, you can't have that attitude. You have to remember that brands talk to each other. They might be competitors, but word does travel. And I've had a lot of experiences where I've spoken to brands, especially small businesses, where they have sent people things and they've just disappeared, and they never hear from that person again. And actually, if you receive something that is quite a surprise when you get it and it's not quite what you expected, and you kind of think, oh, like, I don't think I want to promote this. I'm not actually proud to promote this product. The qualities are not as good as I thought. Then you literally just contact the brand and you say, you know, I'm really, really sorry. Circumstances have changed. I don't think I'm going to be able to post about this on my page, and I don't really want to let you down. I don't want this product to go to waste. It still has all the labels attached. It's still in its packaging. Would you mind sending a courier to come and collect it? don't just disappear. So if you receive it and it's a shock and it's a surprise, it happens, you're not the bad person. The brand isn't the bad person if this happens. It's going to be an awkward situation when you tell them to come and collect the item, but they're going to prefer you to do that than for them to give you something that's probably cost them, you know, a fair bit of money, especially if they're a small business, and then you don't ever say anything to them about it, or you just disappear. So just tell them, and yeah, it all happens. It happens. Things we buy, like, I don't know how many things I've bought off ASOS, and they arrive, and I'm like, oh, that's not actually what it looked like in the picture. So it happens. So don't feel bad. Don't feel awkward. It's all about working with your integrity. So yeah, and I think this is what brands are getting worried about. They're worried that they've had bad experiences with, you know, a couple of influencers if they're kind of new to influencer marketing, and then they just stop working with them altogether. So we don't want that to happen. We want you to be trustworthy and reliable and honest when you are working with brands, and you will be a lot more well respected, and the word will travel, and more people will want to work with you because of it. Also, what we want to do is make sure that when you are contacting brands, you are contacting the right person. So make sure you're actually getting to the right department at the brand, and you're not just sending an email that you've put together and it's beautiful, and you've put your media kit together and it's all looking lovely, and then you just send it to like a customer service email or an info email, and it just gets lost. And then you're like, oh, I've put in all this effort and they've just ignored me. When really it's not necessarily because of that. You might just not have reached the right person at the company. So this isn't really for small businesses. Small businesses usually only have one person, or like 5 people at the most, or one person just trying to do every single job in the company. But bigger brands, especially big brands, will have someone dedicated to marketing, or they'll have someone dedicated to social media. So we want to try and find that person. And you need to also get super specific to the brand that you want to contact. So when you're writing your email, and remember, email, not DM. We don't DM brands. We always email them, because 1, you need to attach your media kit. You can't do that in a DM. And 2, it's just going to be professional. And 3, if you're contacting a big brand, they might get tagged in over 100 stories a day, and they might get 100 customer service DMs in a day, and they might get like 300 people reacting to their stories. So you can see that their Instagram inbox is getting very clogged up very, very quickly, and you could get so easily lost in a big brand's DMs, because it's crazy. There is no system out there really that's worthwhile, that helps you filter through the DMs. It's literally just looking like at your personal DMs with like a million things in there. So finding messages in DMs is very difficult. So definitely email. And remember that your email is all about how you can serve the brand rather than how the brand can serve you. So always think about that when you're writing the email. It's about what you're going to do for them. Eventually, when you've worked with them for long enough, you've built up a good relationship, it switches, and it's about how they're kind of serving you. So kind of you're the one that's supporting them. But at the moment, they're really the ones that are supporting you, and they are kind of like in the position of power, and you're not. But it does change, and all of a sudden, you, like I said before, you become invaluable to them. You're the one that then is in the driving seat, but it just takes a bit of time to get that transition. But it does happen, which is why I'm here to teach you exactly how to do that, because it's fairly easy to just surf brands well, get in their good books, really, really over deliver and absolutely smash it, and all of a sudden it's like they're just asking you what can we give you, how often can we give it you, you know, like, can we have a contract, can we pay you, we're doing a launch, we want to pay you this, we want you to post on this day. It happens, and you can get there. So it's really, really exciting. So when you are writing your email, make sure you are, like I said before, tailoring it to the brand that you're contacting. So brands only want to work with influencers who already love their brand. They don't really want to work with influencers who don't really show any passion about the brand or any excitement or any knowledge. It's a bit like if you're going for a job interview, you would do your homework on the place where you're going for the interview first, so that you can go in and you can be like, oh yeah, I know all about your company and I know this and I know that, and really you just did it the night before. It's kind of like that when you're approaching brands. Like, you have to act like, and I'm sure a lot of you do, you should only be contacting brands if you do genuinely love them. But no matter how much we genuinely love a brand, we might not know all the ins and outs and details. So just try and brush up a bit of knowledge like you would on a job interview. Take it this seriously, and it'll make you shine so much brighter than the rest. So definitely make the effort to do some research. And they only really want to work with people that believe in their brand and can prove that. So remember why you're an influencer, and it's because you can influence people to buy things that you love. And it's not a bad thing at all. It just means that you are so clearly passionate about something and you show something in its best light, and you love something that other people pick up on that, and then they want it too. And that's why you're an influencer, part of the reason. So think about things like when you're writing to a brand, think about, why does that particular brand stand out to you? Is it their latest campaign? Have they got a really good message behind their latest campaign? Do they have like an amazing, inspiring team of sponsored riders? Or what's the brand story? Have they got like a really amazing female CEO that you just think is just incredible and her story is really interesting? Give it some thought, really think about it. Think about why it stands out, why that brand stands out to you. Do your research. Like I said, a lot can be found on a brand's website. And then if you're really struggling, then a lot of things can be found just by the message that brands are trying to give out in their captions, in what they're posting on stories, how open are brands about what's going on behind the scenes, things like that. So as I said before, never ever send the same email out to all the brands that you're contacting. Just don't do it. There's so much room for error. I've seen, God, I can't even tell you how many emails that I've just looked at and I've just been like, no, like, why didn't you just reread that before you sent it to me? Like, it's just awful. And it's all just innocent mistakes, but you just don't want it to happen. Don't let it happen. Don't ever risk having that situation happen to you, because it's going to be an instant no if you're like emailing Aztec Diamond for a collab and then you copy and paste the same email to Holland Cooper but you don't change the brand name. Like, I've seen it all. It's just not good. And mistakes happen, but just don't put yourself in that position. If you're rushing around trying to do a million things, just don't put yourself in that position of even risking it. Tailor it all specifically. Tailor everything specifically. So you also have to remember that a lot of brands will say no. And especially if you're first starting out, a lot of brands will say no. You have to think realistically. Do you want, and I think I mentioned this earlier, do you want to work really, really hard on your growth, engagement and your content for 6 months and think, right, I'm not going to contact brands for 6 months and I'm going to grind, see where I can get in 6 months' time. And then you're going to contact the brand, and everything you're aiming for, think of the dream brands that you wrote underneath the post that I posted earlier. Everything you're thinking about is what is that brand going to see on my page? And this is for long-term partnerships. We're always aiming for long-term partnerships. So then you got your niche, so everything's centered around that niche, and then you've got your brands, and everything's centered around these brands that you want a long-term collaboration with as well. And then in 6 months' time, you can be in a totally different space. Like, it's mad what you can achieve in 6 months when you listen and you do everything that I'm telling you to do. Then you will get there. Like, there's no doubt about it. You will get there, but you have to put in the work, you have to put in the time, you have to be patient. Or you contact them now. You're not really ready. You've not tested how dedicated you are to this. And I'm sure you are all dedicated because that's why you're here. But when times get tough, when things are going wrong, when your page has lost 100 followers in a week, are you going to keep going? You need to test yourself, and you need to see how dedicated you really are before you start contacting brands. You also don't want brands putting pressure on you when you're not ready either. You need to be really ready to be able to control these brands. If they do start getting a bit pushy and they do start getting a bit demanding, bide your time, understand what it is that you will and will not do, and what you do deserve and what you don't deserve, the brands that you want to work with and what you're aiming for. And just see how far you can go on your own first. See how far you can go on your own. Trust yourself before you let a brand trust you, because honestly, if you get a brand that wants to send you something and you haven't worked your arse off for 6 months, and all of a sudden you're like, okay, I've got this amazing pair of boots, but now I really don't know what to do, and I'm like, the pressure's got to me, and I'm a bit scared, and I'm worried that the content isn't going to be good enough, and now I'm really anxious and upset, and I don't want to do this anymore. And that could so easily happen. So just find your flow, find your style, see how dedicated you are, give it a good amount of time until you're ready, until you're tough, and you can go into these brands, you can be confident. And you know, if they're like, right, I'm going to give you a pair of boots, but we want you to post 3 times a week. And actually, if they did that to you now, you might be like, okay. And then all of a sudden you're in this black hole and it's all going wrong. But actually in 6 months' time, you might be like, actually, no, you can give me the boots. If you're not paying me, then I will see what I can do. I absolutely love the product. I absolutely love the brand. But, you know, I've worked really hard for my followers, and I know they're going to love the product too, but I can't promise you that I'm going to deliver this amount of content for you unless we have a contract in place, unless you're going to pay me this much money to post. And then you can just establish where you are at the time, when you're ready, and you can just toughen up a bit, because actually it can be intimidating working with brands, and we don't want you to feel like that at all. So definitely don't rush into it. Give it some time if you can. Give it some time until you're ready. Some of you are totally ready now, and I can see that, and I know that, and the ones that are ready, just absolutely go for it. But the ones that are just unsure, you've not done it before, just give it some time. See how you feel after this masterclass is finished. Go away, look at all your notes, and then just think about how long you want to give it. If you're still not quite 100% with your content, see if you can get your content really good so you feel really good. And then wait and see. So just give it some time. So if a brand says no to you, you've contacted them, you've done everything I've said, you've done your media kit, you've said how excited you are, you've got ideas, and they've still said no, then that's absolutely fine. It doesn't mean no forever, I promise you. I promise you, absolutely, it's not a no forever. There could be so many reasons why they've said no, and it's not going to be because they think your page is rubbish. It's not going to be because of that. It could be down to budget. It could be down to the fact that at that time they don't have enough staff to manage any more influencers, because it's hard work managing influencers, especially when you have like 20 or 30. it is really grueling for the person that is trying to deal with influencers, as amazing as they are, and I've made such amazing friends. If you kind of getting contacted all the time, it's really, really difficult. So just imagine what it's like for that brand as well. They really might not have the capacity to take on any more. They might really like you, but it's just not right the right time, or perhaps they've changed their strategy a little bit. Like, there's so many reasons. If they say no to you, it's probably not personal at all. It's just probably the wrong time. And my favourite thing is every no is a step closer to a yes. And it is so true. Every single time you get a no, you are a step closer to a yes. So go away, work on your content, work on your growth, and then go back to that brand. Make sure things have improved on your page. Don't just like coast along and it's all the same. Make sure you think, right, they've said a no, but this is my brand and this is the brand I want to work with. This is my dream brand. I'm going to look more at the content that they're posting. I'm going to look more at the influencers that they're using. I'm going to see how I might be able to take some hints of that and put it into my content. Or I'm just going to really work hard to grow my followers more, grow my engagement more. And I'm going to go back to that brand and be like, it's me. I contacted you 2 months ago. I just wanted to say that I still absolutely love your brand. I know you said no to me last time, but my followers have now increased by this. My engagement rate has now increased by this. Do you want to give it a go? Because I absolutely love the brand and I'm not really working with anyone else because my heart is set on you. And if they say no again, you go away, you do the same thing in a couple of months' time, get back to them again. Honestly, don't be afraid to just approach the same brand because it works. It works. I've been there, I know. I said no to someone 3 times. And then the 4th time, I think it was the 4th or the 3rd time, I was like, okay, we'll give it a go. Sent a couple of things. And now, just like absolutely invaluable to the brand, getting paid, like 3 years later, you know, couldn't bear to see anyone else be working with her because she's just become so important to the brand. And she got a no like 2 or 3 times in the first place. So just don't lose faith because it really happens. Honestly, it does. And you just have to keep improving yourself. And stay positive. There's a lot to be said for positive thinking, positive mindset, no negativity. We are all about positive, 0 negative thoughts, guys. Just remember, every no is closer to a yes. So don't give up. Don't just move on to another brand because that's not the style we're going for. We want to keep our integrity always and work with our dream brands always in our heads without trying to just grab everything and work with everyone. You can't do that. So Millie, I will answer your question at the end because that's definitely a good one. Oh, we've got 2 Millies. I will answer both your questions at the end. Yeah, so definitely don't be upset if you get a no. I know it's rubbish. But it happens and it will happen to you a lot. But one day it will all just fall into place and it will be a good thing that they said no because you'll be ready when they say yes. So if they say no, always be polite. Always be polite, always reply, always be friendly. I know you guys know this already, but I have to say it. You could ask for feedback. Not everyone will give you feedback. Remember that these people are probably really, really crazy busy. But you could ask for feedback and just be like, what would you suggest that I, change, or if I need to improve anything on my page in order to work with you. Don't be like desperate or beggy, but be passionate. You know, there's a fine line between being really passionate about the brand and being just like, oh my God, like I have to have your things. We don't want that, but we want you to be passionate, mature, friendly, and polite. And like I said, they might give you feedback, but they might not. So really, the key takeaway from this third day is that you have to show brands how passionate you are about their brand. You have to love their brand as much as they love their brand. So that's going to be your best chances of working with anyone. I promise you that. So be excited. They need to be able to envision a result with you. They need to be able to vision what you could do for them. It's all about what you could do for them. And then eventually, like I said, the tables turn and you are very much in the driving seat and it happens, I promise you. And you need to remind them of the result that they're going to get from you as well. So what are they going to gain from you? Is it that they're going to have something really cool to post on their reels or repost one of your reels? Is it that they're going to have some amazing pictures because you're going to work with a photographer? Brands always need content. Like, they're desperate for content. They don't have big budgets, a lot of them, for photography and photo shoots and things like that. And they rely heavily on IGC, which is influencer generated content, and they rely heavily on UGC, which is user generated content. Okay, so we need to play on this. We need to make sure we're giving them really good content, because sometimes that's all they want is content. They don't even care how many followers you've got. So that's it. It's gone so quick. I can't believe how quick it's gone. But I have been talking for nearly an hour, and I just want to congratulate every single one of you that is watching this now, or you're watching it on replay and you've got this far, 3 days in, and you've watched every single video. Like, that's a lot to say for yourself. That's a lot to take in. And you should also just be thankful and just be really proud of yourselves that you've actually just shown up and you've taken some time out of your day to actually learn. Because sometimes it's like you don't want to learn and you've had a hard day or whatever and you're tired, and then sitting down at your laptop or your phone at this time of night and listening to someone go on and on and on, it's like, it's hard work and it's draining. So well done for showing up to yourself, and I'm sure lots of you have been making loads of notes, so well done for doing that. And I really do believe in every single one of you because you're here watching this. So I just think that it's enough for me to know that you can do it. And it doesn't matter if your content's crap right now. It doesn't matter if you've got 200 followers right now. The fact that you're here shows me that you can do it. Whether that's in 6 months, whether that's in a year, where are you going to be in 3 years? If you don't stop and if you keep going and you don't stop when it gets hard, you don't stop, like I said, when you lose 100 followers a week and people are unfollowing you left, right and centre, and you don't stop and you keep going, where are you going to be in 3 years? Like, there is no stopping you. Look at people like This As Me. Look at people like Erin Williams. Like, you can get there because you are no different to them. I promise you, you're no different to them. They are normal people who just did it and they didn't give up. That is as simple as that. They didn't give up, and there's just, yeah, there's no stopping you. So I want to see you all kicking ass. I want to see all of you raising the bar with your page, with your content, with your engagement. I want to see you changing the game with your social media pages. I want you to be doing things in a more exciting, impactful way. The next thing I want to talk to you about really quickly. So obviously a lot of you have talked to me already about the course that I'm launching. And this is pretty much what I've taught you today, but even more. So I go even more into depth. I cover things I haven't been able to cover. There's too much to cover. The course is massive. I couldn't cover it on a video, filming it in an hour. I just couldn't. So it is launching tomorrow, and it is going to be, I'll let you know what time it's launching, but I'm launching it only to you guys first. And then it's going to be launched to next week. So you're going to get early access. I've got a massive discount, like a stupidly crazy discount on this course, so it's going to be really good, and it is step-by-step guide on pretty much how to be an influencer. So it starts from setting your page up to succeed. It goes through content on a deeper level than what I've been able to talk to you about tonight. We then talk about when you are contacting brands, how to contact brands even further than what I've talked to you about tonight. So I have got email templates in there that I've put together for you. I think I've got 11 email templates that basically tell you exactly what to say to brands in pretty much any situation. If you don't want to accept a gifted item, if you want to charge them more money, if you are transitioning from gifted to paid, if you get a no. So if you get a no, I've actually got a template for that, which is going to be really good and really helpful for you. So it's got loads of templates, it's got loads of resources, loads of free downloads and ebooks and workbooks. And then I talked to you about, which I haven't been able to talk to you about over the next 3 days, it's basically just the whole thing. So from beginning to end, where you are getting your first gifted item, how you go about dealing with that gifted item. If it's a brand that you really love and you want a long-term relationship with, I teach you the exact system that is gonna turn that gifted item into another gifted item, into gifted items every month, into gifted items every single year, big gifted items that are like beyond your wildest dreams. And then you're going to take that and you are going to turn that into your paid collaborations, and then you're going to turn your paid collaborations into long term, and then you're going to take that and you're going to start asking for more money. So it really is something that you can start now and you can watch and you can refer back to it. So once you get it, you have access for life. So if you get a brand collab in 6 months time or a year's time, or you've been working on a gifted relationship for 6 months and you think, actually, I think I could probably charge them, it teaches you all about that as well. And you can refer back to it, rewatch it as many times as you want. It's pretty much yours to keep. So it's really exciting, and I don't think I've missed anything out in it. It's just a total complete guide for you. So what I'm doing now is I'm just going through your questions. We had good questions at the beginning that I already answered. So Beth said, are you guys reaching out to them or do they contact you? Is it via DM or worth emailing? Always email, like I said. Think very carefully before you become a brand ambassador for a brand, because it's not always the best thing to do. There's usually only one winner, and that's the brand. If it's a brand that you love and support and you're buying from them anyway, then it's a win-win all round. But if they are like, right, now you need to put this discount code in your bio, now you need to do this, now you need to do that, and you get like, I don't know how much percentage actually. That would be interesting if someone could tell me, because I've never worked with brand ambassador schemes. How much discount do you get on the products? What's the average? Because I would be interested to know that for my own knowledge. Yeah, see the horse feed schemes, the bedding schemes, they're quite good, because like, you're going to be buying the products anyway. You're going to be raving about the products anyway because you want to feed your horse on that. So that's probably going to be a win-win for you. It's more like clothing and things like that you might not necessarily be wanting to buy all that often. Like, I don't buy myself that many clothes, really. So think about how many clothes you actually buy. So I answered Holly about the media kits. I've got you a media kit template that you can use. I've got you a little worksheet that tells you what to put. What is a good engagement rate to be aiming for? So this was Charlotte. So I finally found my question that I needed to answer. So a good engagement rate is I would say for you to be able to approach a brand and be like, my engagement rate is this. So 1 to 3 is your average. And if you have between, I would say like 6 is good, but if you have more than 6, then that's the best. So aim for 6, preferably higher. You guys were all sharing your engagement rates last night, and I'm gonna just pop in the engagement rate calculator link again for those of you that maybe missed it last night. Here we go. I get 20% off clothing, 25% off supplements, 10% for others, 15% for myself. I get 15% discount and 7.5% of sales on a gift card credit. Okay. That's interesting. Oh, that's quite a difference. Quite a difference. Also, because I know a lot of you are brand ambassadors, and it's not necessarily a bad thing at all. If you love the brand, it all comes back to the fact that if you're buying the brand, or if you really love the brand, or you love the person that has created the brand, then yeah, do it. Support them. It's more if you're not really bothered either way, and then you get a bit stuck, that's when it's difficult. So Charlotte, I did answer your question about engagement rate, didn't I? Yeah, I think I did. So Bertha said, I have a brand whose items I love the look of and I love their values, but personally I can't afford the items. Should I purchase an item before approaching to work with them? No, I wouldn't do that, simply because you could purchase something that's going to cost you £50 that you don't really have £50 to spend on it, and then they might say no and you're just going to feel a bit rubbish. So I wouldn't do that. I would... Before contacting them, I would do what I said and just take a bit of time. That's your goal. So that this brand that you're thinking of, Beth, that's your goal. That's your dream brand. Just aim big, aim for that, but don't do it yet. Wait until you feel like, actually, I could be quite irresistible to this brand, or I've got something to offer this brand that's going to make me feel really confident when I'm approaching them. So don't rush into it. They're not going anywhere. Like I said, remember, these brands are going to be here forever. What are your views on TikTok in terms of promoting a brand? So that's a really good question, Emma. TikTok's a funny one because it's so big and it's so popular and it's so good. But remember that a lot of equestrian brands are still so behind the times. So it's not like your Pretty Little Thing and things like that. These equestrian brands are still trying to get their head around Instagram, a lot of them. Unless it's like a new brand. Some of the new small brands, they're already on TikTok. They're already using Reels. And some of the big brands are, using Reels, TikTok, things like that. But think about the brands that you really want to work with. Are they on TikTok? Are they on Instagram using Reels? How advanced do their social media skills look like to you? And... because the thing is that you might say, you can grow followers so quickly on TikTok. You might say, I have 50,000 followers on TikTok, but I have 500 followers on Instagram. Most equestrian brands are going to think, well, that's good, but we're going to get exposure, obviously, on TikTok, but we're not on TikTok, so we're not going to be able to use that content. A lot of brands will want to be able to reach your followers through the things that they're gifting you, and they will also want to be able to use your content on their page, and you want that too because that's going to help you grow. So if you're only posting about a brand on TikTok, it's going to be quite hard for that brand to really understand what they're going to get out of it, because they might be like, well, TikTok's just for kids. We know it's not. We know it's an amazing platform and it's an upcoming platform and it's seriously, seriously good. But remember, some of these brands are very traditional. They're a bit older and they're a bit old school, and they're still like TikTok's for kids, TikTok's like for 5-year-olds, and no, we don't need to be posting reels on Instagram. Like some of them are very traditional. So just keep that in mind always. So, how do you move from the friend zone to the influencer zone? Raphael, are you talking about like if you're friends with a brand, but you also want to be gifted by that brand, how do you transition? Let me know. Sarah said, how much on average would you ask for to promote products? If you're talking in terms of payment, I go into that quite deep in my course. So I have in the course, I have a guide that I've created for you that has industry standards of lots of equestrian influencers that I know and what they're charging. I obviously haven't given any names or anything like that because that's just not right. But I know a lot of rates and I know a lot of average rates of what people are charging and what people are getting paid by brands. So I have that in the course for you. And I have also quite a handy document that I put together. So if you're not charging and you have, let's say you've received a pair of items, a pair of riding boots, for £300. So their value is £300. You've not been paid, but you've been gifted a pair of £300 riding boots. I've put in the course a guide that basically, like, so many people say to me, like, I don't know what brands expect, and I don't know how much I should be posting for brands, and if they've gifted me this, like, what do they want? Because they're not telling me, and they shouldn't really be telling you if they're gifting. So they're doing the right thing, but you need a bit of a guide. So I've created a guide for you in the course that's like, if the value of the product is this, here's kind of what you should do. And if the value is this, then you should do this. So I've done it from, like, if the product's worth 0 to 20, it's this, and I've gone all the way down to if the product's worth like £1,000 or more. So everything in between, so you know exactly what you should be doing, what the right thing is, in order to get the best out of your relationship with the brand and obviously make it long term, get more from them, and then get your payment eventually. How long should we leave it before reapproaching a brand? I would say a good 2 months. See how much you've developed in 2 months. If not 2, then 3. But really try really hard to develop yourself, develop your content, and make your engagement better so that you can go back to them with like lots of numbers that are like nice and increased since you last contacted them. How many brands do you think you can work with at once? I would suggest only working with like one clothing brand really, if you can, at a time, because it's going to cause problems for you. Unless you're quite open with them and you're like, right, I'm actually working with this clothing brand and I want to work with you. Are you happy with that? And you make both brands agree. Otherwise, they could just get arsey with you and things could go horribly wrong. So I would do like clothing, footwear, some things for your horse. I would do like, like a riding helmets and things like that. So let's say 4 to 5 brands at a time might be quite good. That's going to be a lot of work. So remember, if you're approaching like 5 brands and they all say yes, do you have the time to create the content that they're going to be expecting? So don't just contact like, right, I want Charles Owen for my hat, and I want this for me, and I want this for my horse, and then I want this brand for my boots. Like, don't just contact them all. Just contact one. See how you get on, see if the pressure's okay. Otherwise, you're going to get so overwhelmed because, trust me, it's just going to get too much for you trying to deal with 5 brands if you've gone from 0 to 5. So just try and do one and work your way up. Would you ask for feedback after a no? I think I answered that. So, yeah, you can ask for feedback, but also don't don't do it in a way that makes you seem like you don't know. So just be like, so don't do it in a way, if that doesn't make sense. Don't do it in a way where you make yourself feel like, oh, can you give me feedback because I don't really know what I'm doing and I really want to work with you. Like, don't have that attitude. Just be like, I totally accept that you don't want to work, you know, you can't work with me at the moment. That's absolutely fine. I would love to work with you in future. Could you tell me what it takes to be a ambassador or a influencer for your brand? Because I'm so passionate and I really want to channel my energy over the next few months into doing exactly what you suggest in order to get to where I want to be with you guys. And then if you don't mind, can I contact you again? So you can say something like that to them. And that's basically you asking for feedback, but you're still like, you know, I'm the boss. I'm going to ask you for feedback and I'm going to be matter of fact with you, rather than you being like, oh, just give me feedback, like I'll do anything. You don't want that attitude. Oh, lots of thank yous. I'm glad you all liked it. Feel more confident with my Instagram. Yay. Informative. This is brilliant. Yay, really pleased. You're amazing, chef. Thank you, Abby. Oh, my laptop's frozen, never mind. How do you approach brands for giveaways, or do they approach you? Quite often brands will approach the influencers they're already working with for giveaways, and they will probably only do giveaways with the influencers that they're already working with. I only know from like my knowledge, other brands might be different, but I know that if the brand has a budget for a giveaway, they will most likely do it through an influencer that they're already working with. So I would work really hard on just trying to get that gifted item first, get that collaboration going, and then perhaps say, do you want to do a giveaway? Because a giveaway is going to be a lot of pressure on you as well. Ruby said, what level of engagement? So you want to be aiming for at least 6, if not more. Oh my God, I forgot, and I thought you guys were talking about your engagement percentages, not brand ambassador percentages. And Maria said, I got 40%. I was like, wow, Maria, your engagement's flying. But I'm assuming you were talking about brand ambassador discount. Oh, that's so funny. I reached 900 followers today. Wanted to do a giveaway if I get to 1,000, but I have no idea how to do this. So the difficulty with giveaways is it can be hard to really get them going. And I wouldn't do a giveaway until you're really confident that you've got loads of engagement. That's going to really give you a boost, because I've seen a lot of giveaways flop where actually there's not enough hype around a page, there's not enough engagement around a page. So doing a giveaway when you get to 1,000 is great, but I would probably not announce that, because if I'm honest, there's not many people that are going to really help you get to 1,000, because people are so like just involved in their own page and they're just so focused on their own thing. Like, they want to help you get to 1,000, but like they want to get to 1,000 too. So it's like, you don't want to rely too much on other people to get you to that point where you're going to do a giveaway, because I've seen it take a long time. I've seen that like actually there's not a lot of traction. So if you want to do a giveaway when you get to 1,000, why don't you keep it a secret for now? And then when you're like 30 away or 50 away, then do it, because you won't just shoot up, I don't think, unless you're offering something unbelievable for a prize, then you might. So yeah, so the brand ambassador schemes, like 10%, 15%, I would say is not enough. 20% is okay, but do they offer 20% in an email campaign like once every couple of months? Like, is it really something that's special? Think about it. Again, I'm not saying they're bad, and I'm not saying that they're the best thing ever. It's really on a case-by-case basis and very much for the brand to win rather than you guys to get benefits, because either way they're going to get money in their pocket, which is great if it's a brand you love. And if you're like total advocate, then you want to build that brand up, of course you do. But if it's a brand that you're like, yeah, I like you, but I also like this brand, and this brand too, then it might not be quite right for you to do that. Don't just jump at things because it's a discount or a free gift. Always think about your dream brands. Remember, I think I said this last night, that if you work with a brand that you like and they do base layers and you like them, but really the brands you want to work with is a bit more to your taste, they're a bit more premium, like if they see you working with another brand, they might not approach you because they're competitors. So only agree to work with brands that you think like, okay, I don't think I could get better than this because this is the ultimate, like this is my dream brand, I love them. So like some people said earlier, like Shires, if you love Shires and Shires are the ones that you want to work with, but then let's say Aztec Diamond say, would you want to work with us? And you're like, okay, I'll just work with you because someone's approached me and I'm grateful. And then a week later, Shires are like, oh, we could have worked with her, but she's now with Aztec Diamond, so we won't. And that's what happens. Because they don't really want to work with people that are already working with competitors. And it's annoying. I know it's annoying. I don't necessarily agree with it. I've had lots of arguments in my last job about this kind of thing. But it's normally the powers above that can't get their head around the fact that influencers work with lots of different brands. But would you say you should delete your post that's not reached your engagement rate? No, I don't think you should. If your engagement rate's lower, just delete inactive followers or delete people that never ever engage with you and just get your follower number down, because if your follower number comes down, your engagement rate will go up. Let me see. I have a couple of brands I love. This is Raphael, and obviously I buy from them a lot, and they've given me the odd personal gift. I'd love to work with them properly, partly because I think they're awesome. Most of my art and friends have bought stuff because I rave about it. Yeah, that's an awkward one. I would really work on really getting your page to the best it can be. Really work on your friendship that you have with that brand and slowly start kind of giving the hint that you're actually looking to become an influencer. You're looking to work with other brands. You're starting to grow your page. You've been on these masterclasses, you've taken courses, you've taken this, you've done that, and you're taking it really seriously. And in 4, 5, 6 months time, you're going to be actively looking for brands to work with. So you're kind of planting that seed early on with your friends at this brand, and then you up the content, you up the product content. So you're taking close-up of, let's say it's boots, you're taking close-ups of your riding boots, and you're taking lots of like cool things, and your reels are engaging and people are engaging with you, and like your content's kind of gone to the next level. Then they're going to start looking at you not as Raphael, our little friend. They're going to start looking at you like, well, actually, she could take some good content for us. And then it's going to change. But you have to imply that change. You have to be the one that's like, okay, I'm taking it more seriously now. Like in general conversation, I'm taking it more seriously. And I want you to look at my page more seriously. So that's the way I would go about it, Raphael, but it's going to take a few months at least. Molly, the lives are going to be saved in here for a long, long time, so you don't have to rush and watch them. Do you think a smaller account has a chance with big companies? Depends on the content you're creating. If you're creating really good content, then definitely, because you would position yourself to that brand as a content creator and not an influencer, because then it's a different story. Then you're creating content that works for the brand and you're not trying to influence people. So yeah, you definitely have a chance as long as your content is good. Will working with smaller companies like as a brand ambassador help you get noticed for the future with other companies? No, it doesn't. And that's the thing, Millie, is that kind of what I said a minute ago. Actually, brands are so unbelievably funny about competition and competitors. It's crazy how funny they get. I've been in some serious arguments, but it doesn't help you. If you want to be an influencer, it's not like a career ladder. It's like being a brand ambassador. A bigger brand might just look and be like, well, she's already involved with another brand, so scrap that. Rightly or wrongly, that's what happens. Curious if an agreement or contract would state it's for X amount of months, or if it's usually forever until either party terminates. No, normally it'll be like, could be a year. If it's sponsorship, it's usually a year. So if you're looking like at a sponsored rider contract, that would definitely be more like a year. Don't sign anything really that's a year. As an influencer, you do not want to be tied in with a brand for a year, especially if they're not paying you. I would only do about 3 months, and then you say, right, I'll have this contract with you for 3 months, and then at the end of the 3 months, I would still love to work with you, but let's just look at where we all are, because in 3 months, you might have grown by 10,000 followers, and you could be charging them to work with you. So don't sign anything that ties you in for a year. Don't sign anything that ties you in for 6 months. Try and keep it to 3 months if you can, but try and tell the brand that you do want long term, but let's just do 3 months at a time and see where we are and reassess things. Yeah, it does work the opposite. Sarah, if you're talking about the brand ambassador schemes, it does work the opposite. If you don't have a contract with them, how long will it be for if you were a brand ambassador for them? I don't know. I have no experience with the brand ambassador schemes. I just see them. I see them and I just, well, now I know what the discount is, but I was always like, what's the discount with that? Always been intrigued. It's such a big scheme. Like Jess said earlier, it's kind of like a pyramid scheme. Some of them, not all. Okay, well, I think I've answered all your questions. How good is that? I'm BA, my discount I feel is brilliant. So that's so good. And that's the thing, like BAs can work for people. Some of them don't, but then you shouldn't have agreed to it in the first place. If it's like not something that you're happy with, you shouldn't have agreed to it. That's me being, not me being mean to you, but as me being honest. That's why you've got to be so selective. Write down your brands, aim for those brands. So I think I've answered everyone and I'm so glad you liked it. And maybe I will see you tomorrow.